Hey everybody, in honor of Nurses Week, I'm going to be pushing out additional content to all of my followers this week, just as a thank you, and I hope that some of it will serve you during this crisis. And this in particular is going out to clinical leaders out there. We are facing our generation's greatest health crisis by far, and there are thousands and thousands and thousands of you out there that might just be asking yourself on a daily basis, what am I doing? I didn't sign up for any of this. And this is a short message on are leaders made or are leaders born? If you believe that leaders are made, then you believe that leaders go through training, development, or other skill growth to be able to get where they are. You may believe that leaders are born and there's something innate in certain people that brings out the so-called leader in them. Many of you may also believe that it's a combination of the two. This debate of our leaders made versus our leaders born has been going on a very long time, and it's a debate because there is no true answer for it. I turn that on its head because I say that you're just asking a bad question if you're asking our leaders made or our leaders born. What we're witnessing right now is the quintessential leadership argument, is that leadership is a calling. And leaders, or the leadership quality that human beings have, is born in adversity. It comes from handling a crisis. And when leaders or human beings are given a calling and they answer that call, that is where leaders become leaders. And all of you have a story. If you're a leader, especially if you're considered by those around you to be a strong leader, you have a story or more, especially if you're in healthcare, where adversity has somehow shaped you. I was running organizational development for a hospital in New Hampshire. They had a financial hardship statewide, and they needed to save a lot of money internally immediately. It was about a $10 million price tag that needed to be cut, and they were looking for where they could find efficiencies in-house. They had no Lean Six Sigma work done previously, and I was called upon not only to be saved from not being laid off, but I was called upon to bring this work to the organization in a way that was actually going to be meaningful. And not be treated like organ rejection from the clinical staff, where don't you love as a clinical staff when someone who is not from your team shows up and tells you how to save money and how to do things more efficiently. Those people tend to get punched in the face physically or metaphorically. I was already dealing with an organization that had asked me to my face, how come you didn't get laid off? How come you get to keep your job? So as already being viewed as a little bit of an outsider, I knew that we had to forge some real benefit and value for this organization to save the organization. And at the time I was running organizational development and clinical training, and we got to do some real work from the ground up on Lean Six Sigma within that organization, and we found some real savings that clinical staff loved and appreciated, and we created some efficiencies around how we're tracking and keeping IV pumps, where we're keeping walkers for the physical therapists. There are really important things that we were not paying attention to as an organization, and it was a huge success. I knew nothing about this work. I had everything on the line for my own livelihood, as well as really to save this organization, which was a big part of its community, and I was so grateful that we were able to do this. And for me, that was a calling. I had answered it. I was in way over my head. I was asking every day, what am I doing? I didn't sign up for this, but we found a way and we made it work. And I was so proud of the people who rallied around me to support me during that, and we really made a following out of this work. And for the time that I was there, it became a really important part of all the clinical leaders' work with their people, was to not look at numbers as much as really just driving quality patient care and the overall patient experience, with the efficiency of making the lives easier for the clinical staff, and it went so far. Now, there's something really important too that promotions or a title does not make somebody a leader. If somebody's been promoted because they're highly skilled, it's also highly likely that they're not going to be a really strong leader. It's not until you face adversity or you face a crisis and you come through it, pass or fail, that you really have that leadership quality. You have to have answered that call at some point. And I do believe that the clinical environment lends itself to just being a farm for amazing leaders. Nurses in particular, clinical staff, bedside workers, you all are built for leadership. Your careers are born in adversity. Most nursing units, I know, make it a point to give the worst jobs in the unit to people who are brand new, sort of a paying your dues to eat your young kind of thing. But the reality is all nurses are doing really tough jobs every single day. And hospitals, clinics, other organizations must get better at this. It's one of the things that organizations fail at miserably, is they're creating these amazing leaders as people who are serving patients at the bedside and people who are leading those individuals, but they're not keeping them and they're not supporting them. And people are leaving nursing, which is one of the drivers of the nursing shortage. People are retiring prematurely, and it's making things really difficult on this. And this COVID crisis, I believe, is a calling. And you see story after story of leaders who have never had to do this before, stepping up to cover for their people, to support their people. We see others that are choosing to not answer the call. And that's part of each individual's own journey. Somebody may or may not be ready for this call, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm so proud of the people that I see and the people that I work with that I don't even have to say anything to them. By the time they talk to me, they are already answering the call. And my hat's off to those individuals. But if you ever ask or are part of that debate of leaders being made versus leaders being born, you know it's a garbage question. Leadership is a calling. And most of you have answered this call. And this is a health crisis that this generation has never seen, and we may never see again. But the people who are stepping up, they deserve all the credit in the world. And there isn't enough Starbucks cards, bonuses, there isn't enough anything in the world to truly appreciate what all of you who are watching this have been doing, just to serve patients and to be part of the front lines of this war that nobody asked for. So please keep your eyes peeled for more content coming out from this spot to help support you in anything that you're doing. And of course, you can always reach out to BushidoLeadership.com if you have any coaching needs or questions, and I look forward to speaking with you. By all means, drop your feedback in the comments. I love hearing from you all, so hope to talk soon. Thank you.